So I'm being told by my superiors not to base content development around keyword research. How do I change their minds? And just I have a kind of a funny story right about this. But like 15 years ago, I was working for a startup. I'd managed the website for the last 4 years. We probably had 80 or 90 pages, of which I wrote 99% of the content. And my vice president of sales and marketing left for another job. We had a new VP of marketing come in, and he booked a meeting with me like within the first week, and he sat me down and he said, "I've been looking at the website, and there's too many words on it. Can you get rid of the words and just have pictures?" And I thought I was being punked, but he was serious. And I was not at that job for much longer after he showed up. But that's my personal anecdote.
So it's funny that reminds me a little bit of back in the day when Flash was really big. And people loved the look of Flash websites, all this movement and stuff going on, but there were no words on the page. And without any words on the page, especially 15 years ago, well, basically the page was blank. So although it looked cool, Google couldn't understand any of it. There was no content to be read or seen, and it never got anywhere, which is part of the reason why Flash died. It was not a good platform for ranking and getting traffic. It also was huge, so it took forever to download. I can't imagine what Flash would be like on a mobile device these days. So it's good it's gone. That being said, what's happening, 15 years ago, 10 years ago even, we were doing a lot of keyword research, finding the different words and phrases and variations of those words and phrases that people were using to find the things that we were selling. And we were creating individual pages for each keyword phrase, basically, back then, right? So you may have, I always use dog training as an example. Dog training Tampa, Tampa dog trainer in Tampa, Florida. Dog obedience training, behavior modification classes, puppy kindergarten, right? It's all different ways to say the exact same thing, which is I've got a dog, I need some help training my dog, right? It's all the same thing. But back then, we would create pages for each one and get it set up to be found for that keyword phrase. Now, what's happened since then, Google's got smarter. People have gotten smarter. People want more reliable information. Short form content, which is what we used to do. We create a page, put a little bit of content on it about that, that phrase, put enough just to make it work, do all the other SEO things that we need on a page, a title, a description, the URL, the headings, maybe some links and so on using keywords. And the thing would rank no problem. I mean, it was easy back then. But because it was easy, it was also manipulated. And that is what Google was trying to eliminate. They're trying to eliminate manipulation. So what you have to do now with keyword research is to answer the question, no, you can't not do some kind of keyword research, okay? You need to look up, what are people looking for? What are the words and phrases and how do they look for things up? But more important, what's their intent behind the search, right? So if someone's typing, dog trainer in Tampa, well, it's pretty easy to assume their intent is to find a dog trainer somewhere in Tampa to train their dog, right? But if someone types into Google, 2004 Ford Mustang GT, what do they want? Do they want to buy one? Do they want to sell one? They're looking to repair one? They're trying to find parts for one? There's really no way to know from that one instance what people want, what their specific intent is, okay? And one of the things that you can do if you're curious as to what's the intent is to go search for that thing in Google and look at what comes back from Google, because Google's already seen that search probably millions of times. And they, over time, have learned when someone types this in, the majority of people are looking for, let's say they're looking to sell it, right? And so they'll start to show you a place where you can sell your car. If they determine that the majority of folks are looking to for parts, the majority of websites that come back will be parts places. So the content helps guide you or the keyword research, helps guide you in what your content is. So if you work for an HVAC company, you might find a lot of people looking for AC installation, air conditioning installation, installing my AC, air conditioning or HVAC install, aircon installation or install, And so all of those words are basically about people wanting to know about, maybe having their AC installed, right? And so you have to write content that really delves deep into the topic of installation, right? The who, what, where, when, how, what, why, and how come, and so on, all has to be part of what you're writing, what you're putting out there. So the keyword research, you can't get away from it. You have to do your research. You want to include variations of those keywords that you're finding within this long form content, obviously where it makes sense. You have to also look for semantically related words. So if I'm talking about dog training, I'm probably going to see the word leash or collar or sit or stay on a page about dog training. It just would make sense that you would have that. There are tools out there that you can use to help you find additional related words, all kind of different things that are out there that you can look for. But you need to use the keyword research as a guideline for determining what you're going to write about. What's your content going to be about? Now, I'm not saying you're going to go and make a page for each keyword. That's done. In fact, Google, I forget the number. I think it's like 15% of searches that Google sees every day have never been searched for before. And the primary reason for that is because we're talking to our devices more often, right? We're asking Siri or Hey Google or whatever to, long form. We tend to ask questions of them, of these devices, rather than just writing 2, 3, 4 word phrases, which is what we predominantly did 10 years ago. And back then, 10 years more, you had to have the keyword phrase on the page in order to rank for it. You had to. Like, if it didn't exist on the page, you weren't getting ranked for it, period. Which is why people made individual pages and made so many pages. But now Google understands. They can read their AI, the tools that they've been using for a while before even AI was big, Rank Brain, and BART, or BERT, and there's a few other ones out there too that they use, have been designed over time to look at the words on a page, to look at the words before and after a phrase that it may have found. And nowadays, you may find stuff showing up in organic ranking that, doesn't have the keyword that you look for on it. It doesn't exist on the page. But why does it show? Because from an intent perspective, the information on that page, Google thinks is going to be valuable to you as the searcher based on what your needs are. And they're basing that need on the phrase you're putting in, the intent behind that phrase, and the intent they've seen other people land on and stick with when they do the same search or very related search. So how do you convince the bosses of this? I mean, I would guess your best bet is to do a few searches, right? A few of the same searches or same similar keywords, and keep a list of maybe the top 10 results that are showing up. If you start seeing the same pages showing up, maybe one is at the second spot, for a different keyword it's in fourth, for a different keyword it's, first or fifth or eighth or whatever, but it keeps showing up, well, take a look at that page. How long is the page? How many words and phrases are on there? What are they talking about? Do they really have the whole thing fleshed out? Is all the SEO solid? Is there a great title tag? Is there a good description tag? Do they use H1 and H2 tags appropriately? Are they putting keywords or references or related versions of the keyword into their heading tags? Are they using internal linking and bulleted lists with maybe a keyword or two in it? You got to still do your good SEO. The good basics of SEO aren't really going to go away. The good thing now is you don't need to have 27 different pages that all basically say the same thing, but using a different keyword phrase. What you have to have is one really solid page of content that answers the user, the person's, the searcher's intent, so that they don't have any more questions. They know exactly what they're getting when they're done reading that page. And you've convinced them by the time they're done reading that page that you are the person to deal with for this situation and to reach out to you. So to convince those bosses, it's going to take a little twisting, but you've got to look at the words. So even if the alternative would be, okay, well, what content do you want me to write? Well, I want you to write about this. Okay, well, when you write about this content, well, then go research that content, see what words and phrases related to that people search for, and just make sure that those words are in the page. So you can work it both ways, right? For years, everybody said, well, let's look up the keywords and then write the content around the keywords. And honestly, you're better off writing great content about a topic, forgetting about keywords, write great long form content, answers all the questions, and then check on the words and phrases that you should expect to be in there. Do the research, see what words and phrases are related to that topic, and then a lot of them probably are going to be in there. If you've written quality content, those words are going to be in there. If they're not in there, or if you see a couple of words and phrases that have really high value and you just didn't put them in there, can you fit them in there in a logical way, not shoving the round hole into the square peg, but putting them in on the page in a way that makes sense, adds value to the user. Always think about your users. Don't think about Google. And take those keywords, try to mix them in, but get that intent down. Build a better mousetrap than the guys that are showing up above you. Okay, if everybody above you's got 1,000+ words of content and you've got 400+ words, you're never going to win. If everyone's got 1,000 and you're like at 2,000, but your 2,000 are far superior, answer a lot more value, have step-by-step instructions on how to do something, or have great photos or good videos or multimedia, and you're using structured data on the page to really help Google understand everything about the page and what it can do, you're going to be in a lot better shape than somebody else. So, keywords are never going to go away from understanding, because people still search for words. We still search for words, whether those 3, 4, 5 words or whole sentences, and you have to match the intent for the phrase with your content. So hopefully that'll help, but good luck convincing your boss, because bosses are hard to convince of anything. Trust me, I know, I'm a boss, so it's hard to change my mind. You have to prove to me that I'm wrong, and it does happen. It happened the other day, right?